We've all heard of minions, but how many of us have actually heard of brutes? So today on RPG Boons, we're going to do a little applied geomatics. Look into some brutes, some statistical calculations, some stats to make sure that you have the appropriate battle for those players and your villain survives. Let's go. Now, we've all heard of minions, so I'm just going to really quickly gloss over this. It's usually 1 hit points that they have. They do 1 point of damage or very low points of damage, and typically you don't want to give them any bonuses to hit. So they're just going to be little monsters to make your players feel a lot better because they're just chopping them down just like they do in those movies. But always in those movies, every villain that we've ever seen, there's always a villain entourage, right? There's a group of guys with them. Most famously, Thulsa Doom with Thorgrim and Rex. So what are brutes? You can argue that brutes are a subtype of minion, but I would say no, because these guys are a lot tougher. Minions are meant to be chopped down. Brutes are a little harder to take care of. And I'm going to give you a few levels of brutes so you can have a well-rounded villain empire. The first thing I want to talk about are squad leaders. Now, these guys are kind of the lesser villains. And the secret sauce for these guys is basically you look at your hero maximum hit points by their level, and you divide that by 2, and you give them that HP for that squad leader hit points. So this, what we're looking at here is just an example, and I'll continue to carry it out through the video, is a level 6 characters. Take the average die of hit points that you can get, so it's about a D8, times that by 6, that's 48 divided by 2, you got 24 hit points. So these squad leaders have about half the hit points of your average hero of your group of the highest level, assuming everybody's around level 6. In addition, how do you get that armor class? It's basically 10, same formula, plus half that level. So if it's a 6th level, you get 13 armor class. Squad leaders still require to have special moves, okay? So it separates them from the minions of just having basic attacks, and you kind of have to think about what that special attack is. But whatever you decide, they have to do about 25% of the hero's maximum damage. So again, thinking about that 48, it's going to have to do around 12 points of damage, and a regular attack should be about 1d6, 1d8, so a regular standard attack. They're going to have a special move that they can at least execute once for show, but they could probably use it multiple times. And of course, the bonus to hit, the BTH, that should also be about half the hero's level, so about a +3. The next thing I want to talk about are the big boys, or at least the stronger boys, or the stronger gals. These are the captains and the generals. These guys really pop out. They really stand out. And here we're just looking at a couple examples of Donald's big boys. These brutes and captains and generals should have about 100% of your hero's hit points. So if you have level 6, and times 8, that's going to give you about 48 hit points. So they should at least have 48 hit points, the full 48 hit points for a level 6 group. Their armor class is just going to be 10 plus their level, so about 16. In addition, those special moves are going to be pretty lethal. They got to do about 50% damage, so I wrote down here 24 again, thinking about that level 6 character. 24 points of damage. What's going to give you about that? And that has to be about what they can do. So maybe like a 5d6 damage, because that pushes you closer to 30. So that's probably going to give you an average around 18, I think, but still, maybe 66. It's one special move again, one attack they can do that really distinguishes them from everybody else and even from the boss. And again, the regular base damage should be about 1d12, 1d10, and the bonus to hit should equal their level. Now you might be saying to yourself, Franco, really a bonus to hit up to their level, which could be up to a +20, but this, you kind of gave away the game. You've never played high level games. By the way, I stay away from them, but you can see here at an ancient bronze dragon has a +16 to hit. So maybe, cap it at +16, but you can see you can get away with these pretty high levels to hit. For these generals and captains, I wanted to give some examples of some special moves that you can do that'll help actually protect your villain. And the classic grab the hero and toss them 30 feet, causing them to get 46 damage. Now you can argue that the 46 damage is the impact against a wall or them just flying and tumbling. If you want, you can add a dexterity check to allow them not to basically roll and roll all over the floor as they're being thrown.
Jax wins.
Another type of special maneuver you can give your brutes, especially like a big hefty guy, is the meat shield. Now, I really like this one. This big guy stands by his boss, and basically anytime an incoming attack comes, he moves in, takes the blow, and basically absorbs that damage. So sometimes you want to double those hit points, and basically it's a reaction. So it's shielding the boss. Now, another classic move that you can probably give one of these big brutes, these big bulky guys, is a ranged AoE sphere. And in this case, I'm making it an effect where he grabs a boulder. Now, think about it. This is a big, strong guy. He basically rips either pieces off of a wall, pieces off of the ground. That's how strong he is. He tosses them. Now, you can make it a direct attack and showing like a line of sight of attack, or you can throw the boulder and wherever it hit explodes into pieces, causing this ranged AoE effect. Everybody takes damage. And these are just some dexterity saves you can give and some DCs based on that formula that I previously showed you. This other type of brute, the general, is going to have a different type of special move. This guy's kind of the more slender guy, at least in the movie he was, but he's extremely powerful if you remember. Now, what you could do is you can have a force field reaction that protects the boss man, basically. So similar to the meat shield, but it's a different effect. And anytime heroes try to attack him, he throws up some type of shield like that and essentially protects the villain. And we're going to give that a +5 to the AC to the boss. Now, another special move that this general or captain can have is another AoE line of attack, maybe just like we saw in the movies. A bunch of spikes flies up and he launches them forward, and the heroes must make a dexterity check to avoid them and do that special damage. Again, this is going to do maybe you can make it one of those situations where they either take full damage or half damage, right? So if he really makes the monk, or is it the thief, I believe, that has the uncanny, it's the thief that has the uncanny dodge that can essentially help them really stand out in that situation as well. So basically does a DC 16, 5d6 points of damage, or half that if you can escape that. Now, a good move to do also is the hold person. Make it a spell cast, make it very difficult to succeed against. I put DC 16 here, but if you really want to stop your players, make it a little bit higher if you'd like. And essentially what he does is he prevents the one guy who's doing all the damage, or the mage that's doing all the damage. Now, this is the smart one, remember, so he's going to point to the most to the player that's doing the most amount of damage, or at least causing the most amount of problems, and try to hold him, preventing them from doing any more spells. So then I think the question becomes, how many of these brutes should you have versus minions? So here I'm putting together just a table to kind of give you an idea where to start. 1 to 2 players, 1 brute, 5 minions, 3 to 4 players, 1, 10 minions, and so forth. So again, a lot of the stuff that I'm showing you here today, the RPG boons that I'm giving you, are just a way to get your brain cooking. You can adjust these, modify these any way you want. You could only use a single brute, a really powerful one that has multiple types of these attacks, maybe. So he's just a really powerful brute, almost a supervillain in himself, but is basically, controlled by the main boss. And that's it, everybody. I wanted to show you brutes compared to minions, how to give those brutes some special abilities, kind of how to think about those statistics, and how many brutes to use during that combat when you're using that villain. So remember, the villain always has an entourage. He always has these guys with him. This will prevent him from being wiped out, him or her. So that's it for everybody. I'm Don Franco 3. This is RPG Boons, where we talk about everything RPG and how everything is RP. If you like the cut of my gibberish, hit the buttons. You know what to do. Leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Till next time.